Today we'll be starting a new chapter, that is clinical pathology. Now, clinical pathology will mainly deal with different disorders and how you can detect those problems clinically, as in the clinical problems, for example, changes in serum, changes in RBC, WBC, what is clotting time, bleeding time, blood grouping, all of that. A lot of these things have already been taught to you in your first year. ठीक है, some basic training के ऐसा आता थोड़ा नहीं रहता. So we'll keep these chapters from now on. You have small chapters from now on in pathology, because the main bulk of it, the main diseased portion is done. जो बाकी का है, that will be just how should I put it? It is just brush up on your basics. Okay, it's not a lot of detail as such. You'll not learn. You will learn a few new things, but it is more of revising what you have already learned, kind of thing. Okay, so we'll keep it as a discussion. Now, first in clinical pathology, we'll discuss about blood. All right. So, blood obviously, is a very important component of your body, and there are about 4 to 5 liters of blood in your body, 4 to 5 liters in females and 5 to 6 in men. Generally, the pH is about 7.3 to 7.4. In any case, blood in your arteries will be much more, redder and much more bright when compared to veins. This is because of oxygenation. Right? Hemoglobin, which is oxygenated, gives a much more bright color to your blood when compared to deoxygenated blood, which is present in veins. All right. So, can you tell me what are the functions of blood?
transport,
Okay, good. Transport is a function, and
observe,
excuse me, can you repeat that once again? What are the functions of blood? See, this is completely your territory. It should not be very difficult to answer. Just answer what you know. Transport के अलावा, what will be the function of blood?
fighting with
Not able to hear you clearly. Up below? Or you can put it in the chat box as well. Either way is fine. अच्छा ठीक है, ट्रांसपोर्ट ही ले लिए. What is your blood transporting? What does your blood transport?
सर ब्लड क्लॉट के लिए यूज कर
Your voices are very low. There is either a problem in my receiver or yeah, you were telling something. My volume was very low. What does blood
ब्लड क्लॉट
transport? It will transport blood clots, huh?
नो सर फंक्शन
Functions. अच्छा ठीक है. आ, उसको प्रोटेक्शन में डाल सकते हैं that function को, because it is a protective
रेगुलर
function. Yes, there is a regulatory function as well.
रेगुलर बॉडी टेम्परेचर
अच्छा, three main functions. आप जो बोल रहे हैं टेम्परेचर का, that will come under regulation. Okay, and protection में there are clots, clot formation. In case there is hemorrhage, clot formation will occur. What about transport? What is your blood transporting?
सेल
It will transport cells.
न्यूट्रिएंट्स सर
मतलब
हार्मोन्स
okay, nutrients, yes. Hormones, yes. Anything else? It can transfer cells in a way, in the sense that it is not voluntarily doing it. For example, if someone has cancer, tumors will spread through your blood, but it is not as such, मतलब voluntary नहीं है वो, blood का काम नहीं है. They are invading into your blood and they are getting transported. As such, your cells are not supposed to use your blood for transportation. Anyway, as you told, nutrients, hormones, another very important product that you are forgetting, because of which you are alive.
ऑक्सीजन
Gases, including oxygen. Oxygen and carbon dioxide, both of them are transported. Carbon dioxide away from your cells and oxygen to your cells, so that energy can be derived. So it is transporting gases, it is transporting hormones, and what else? Nutrients. और क्या ट्रांसपोर्ट करता ब्लड? अच्छा, think of it this way. After metabolism is done, what will be left in the blood? After any cell is metabolizing energy, and let us suppose muscle cell hai, skeletal muscle tissue hai, yeah, whatever it is, any type of cell, let's suppose it is liver or kidney. After it has performed its function, what will be left out that blood is taking away?
Waste products.
Waste products. Yes. See, this is not a very a topic where you have to make it dull. Okay, this is a very यहाँ पर बहुत अच्छा chance है आपको interact करने का. So I'm encouraging you interact so that it will become much more easier for you to learn as well. There'll only be a little bit here and there that I will top up on your current knowledge. Most of it you already know. ठीक है. Same last year का जो आप physiology में पढ़े थे वही repeat होता. I'm sure आप लोगों को physiology में नहीं तो clinical training में they must have taught this to you. Or else at some point or the other you must have learned it. I'm just trying to top it a little bit. उतना ही आपको BSc के level पे ला लेते बस. Most of it will be the same. That is why I'm telling you to keep it interactive. It will be easier for you to learn as well. At least in the previous case where you had diseases, there were completely new. Most of it you did not know. Even the anatomy, physiology. Now here you have a lot of chance. ठीक है? So keep it interactive. It will be interesting to you as well. Class boring नहीं रहती. All right. If we talk about the protective function, obviously you told there is clot formation that comes from your platelets, thrombocytes that are minimizing blood clots. Any other function that can be categorized under protection, or anything else that the blood does? You know, any other role that the blood has in with respect to protection? आप लोग लास्ट वीक उसके बारे में एक एग्जाम लिखे थे.
Infection.
Okay, infection. Yeah, sure. Okay, infection. WBCs are being carried. Infection, true. It is protecting your body indirectly from infections because of WBCs and neutrophils and all of them that they carry. Something else will happen before that infection happens, or when that infection happens, something will happen in your blood. What is the immediate reaction of your body as soon as an infective agent or any foreign agent comes into your body?
Antibodies are produced.
Okay. आप एंड प्रोडक्ट पे चले गए वो प्रोसेस के. एंटीबॉडीज बनने से पहले कुछ ही होता ना. Definitely antibodies are made. What is triggering the formation of antibodies? Acha, let me put it this way. Let us suppose you are sitting on your bed and you are watching this class or listening to this class. I hope you're listening to this class. And let's suppose a cockroach comes onto your bed. Now don't freak out. Let us suppose there is a cockroach that comes onto your bed. You take a broom or you take something to shoo it away or to push it away essentially from your bed. If you're a normal person, you would want to shoo it away. Now I'm not sure what you are. You might want to make it a pet, but anyway, you are, let's suppose, shooing it away. Now the process of shooing it away can be attributed to being production of antibodies, or the झाड़ू जो लेके आप उसको बाहर भगा रही या newspaper लेके आप बाहर भगा रहे, that can be attributed to antibodies. What are you in that scenario? You are being triggered, right? So what will you be with respect to what is happening in blood, thinking that the cockroach is a foreign agent? I'm not sure whether you understood that example or not, but inflammatory reaction. Thank you. Yes, inflammation. Inflammation is a very important protective function of your blood, and through inflammation your blood is triggering WBC's production of antibodies. Sometimes it is even triggering the formation of clots. If there is hemorrhage, it will trigger the formation of clot, and you know the whole clotting cascade will come into picture. आप लोगों को लास्ट ईयर क्लॉटिंग कैस्केड पढ़ाए थे क्या? इंट्रिंसिक एक्सट्रिंसिक पाथवेज ऑफ ब्लड क्लॉटिंग. How
Yes, sir.
factors पढ़ाए थे? Okay, very good. So thoda to idea hai that what are the factors that are released by this thing liver, and what are factors that are already present in blood, which factor activates which factor, and how finally you will get activation of fibrin. Okay, anyway, jab apan antiplatelets padhenge, I'll go over it again, but you have some working idea of it at least. When we come to regulatory function, there is obviously temperature. Your blood is maintaining or helping in maintaining body temperature by regulating, regulating the temperature of body and making sure that your skin is nice and warm and your body is warm as such. Other than that, what else does your blood regulate?
pH.
Yes, pH. Why is regulation of pH important? Or rather, let me put it this way. Um, what is your blood balancing in order to maintain that pH? If I told you that 7.3, 7.4 is the pH of your blood, right? What is your blood managing? Kya zyada hota, kya kam hota? What are the components the inside blood that are maintaining this pH? Acha, let me put this very crudely. pH को influence करने वाले chemicals को क्या बोलते हैं? What do you call the chemicals that can influence pH? There are two chemicals. One fellow can increase pH, one fellow can decrease pH. What are they? Okay, they're called acids and bases, ma. There are acids and bases present in your blood, right? Your blood is essentially regulating its levels of acids and bases in order to maintain a certain amount of pH. That pH is maintained in order to regulate all the protein functions that are present inside your blood. Proteins and cells that are present in your blood will have to be maintained at a certain pH for them to work optimally. अगर वो pH का balance ऊपर नीचे हुआ तो problem होता. All right, lot of problems. Other than that, your another regulatory function comes with water balance. It will help in making sure that the amount of or the volume of blood is being maintained, and whatever excess amount of water is there, it is either being transferred into tissues or it is being excreted out into your urine. Anyway, these are the three basic functions of your blood. Now coming to composition of your blood, you have two main components. There is plasma and they are formed elements. Okay. Plasma is that clear extracellular fluid that is present inside your blood, making up the bulk of the blood. Right. Formed elements will be blood cells and platelets. Okay. Platelets are not per se cells. I'm not sure whether you've been taught about this or not, but platelets are not really cells as such. They are tiny fragments of your bone marrow cells. They are not truly cells in a way, at least not blood cells. Okay. एरिथ्रोसाइट्स रहते हैं, ल्यूकोसाइट्स रहते हैं, प्लेटलेट्स रहते हैं. ये तीन are the major components of your formed elements. There are other proteins like fibrinogen, albumin, globulin, etc., etc. But these three make up the major components of your blood. Now, coming to various blood and bone marrow tests and assessments that can be done for diseased condition in blood, we'll first look at hemoglobin. Why is hemoglobin important in your blood, or why is hemoglobin important as such?
So because it carries oxygen to the cells.
Okay, good. So it is important because it is a component of RBC and it helps in carrying oxygen from your lungs to your tissues so that your tissues and cells can undergo respiration. Cellular respiration can occur. All right. In a way, also it is helpful in carrying carbon dioxide away from your cells, because at the end of cellular respiration, whenever carbon dioxide comes out as a metabolite or a byproduct of the cellular respiration, that carbon dioxide is carried by the same hemoglobin, carboxyhemoglobin banta instead of oxyhemoglobin. I'm not sure whether you've been taught about this or not, but oxygen will combine with the iron present in hemoglobin. Hem plus globin will be that protein which has an iron molecule. 4 iron molecules, porphyrin ring pe 4 iron molecules rehte, each of them are able to carry 2 oxygen molecules. Anyway, this will make an oxyhemoglobin molecule that is able to carry that oxygen to different cells and tissues in your body, providing oxygenated blood. Whenever that oxygen is taken up by the cell and that cell performs various metabolic functions, the end product will be carbon dioxide and a few metabolites, waste products essentially. Whenever that carbon dioxide gets dissolved into your RBC, there is a special product formed that is called carboxyhemoglobin. That carboxyhemoglobin goes all the way up to your alveoli and gets exchanged for oxygen. Carbon dioxide gets thrown out into your lungs, essentially being exhaled out, and oxygen that is being inspired in, the air that is being inspired in with oxygen will be infused into your hemoglobin, forming oxyhemoglobin again, and the cycle continues. All right. Now, in order to measure hemoglobin, acha, before measuring hemoglobin, what is the normal level of hemoglobin that a person should have?
13 point.
Acha, let me put it this way. What are the normal levels of hemoglobin in men and in women? That question became a little less vague, at least now.
13 से 18 तक
13 से 18 किन के अंदर रहता? Now these numbers are a little subjective, okay, depending on what source you are using. थोड़ा skew रहता, but roughly they'll be the same. All right, you were telling 13 to 18 in किसके अंदर? Men या women?
Men.
Okay, women.
12 to 16, 15 point.
Okay, let's suppose that we'll round it off to 16. 12 to 16 is the normal. Oh, by the way, what are the this thing? ये क्या है? 13 to 18 and 12 to 16? Kgs,
So
liters,
gram per day.
gram per
day.
day.
Okay. Okay. Very important. Make sure you always remember the correct this thing notation along with units. All right. Now there are several methods in which through which you can measure hemoglobin. There are already about 6-7 methods that you can use, but the most commonly used one is called HICN method. Okay, cyan methemoglobin method we bolte hai usko. This is a method through which you can measure the concentration of hemoglobin in a person's blood. Okay, the test is called cyan methemoglobin method. Okay, इसको HICN method भी बोलते हैं. All right. Now, what you do in this is you take a sample of blood and you add Kc into it, potassium cyanide. You take a small sample of blood, you add potassium cyanide and ferricyanide to it. Ferricyanide to that sample. ठीक है, sample hemoglobin जो आप ले रहे हैं patient से, you withdraw a little. Let's suppose I'm testing a conscious hemoglobin level. I withdraw a little bit of blood. Let's suppose I withdraw some 5 ml of blood. I take a small sample of that and I add a little bit of KCN and ferricyanide into it, into the sample hemoglobin. What will happen is I will end up getting a special product called cyan methemoglobin. Methemoglobin. Now, why am I trying to make cyan methemoglobin? Have you all ever heard of a method where absorbance is measured? Acha, I'm not sure whether you might ever heard of it or not. Pharmaceutical analysis, analysis is the subject in which you are trying to analyze different compounds. This comes under a part of analysis. यहाँ पर आप क्या करते हैं? Let us suppose there is some X compound. ठीक है? Let's suppose there is some X compound. For now, forget about this. ठीक है? There is some X compound and you want to identify that X compound. You don't know what that compound is. You got some stone or you got something and that compound you want to identify what it is बोल के. आप क्या करते हो? उसका एक छोटा sample लेके you put it in a big ass machine. Okay, there's a specific machine to it. I'm not going to confuse you with all of the terminologies, but there is a specific machine for it. All right. अब वो machine में it will measure the absorbance of different molecules. यहाँ पर you are relying essentially on the fact that each and every substance on earth will have its own level of absorbance. Absorbance essentially refers to the phenomena in which when you bombard that substance with a specific type of light, for example आप UV light लिए या whatever type of light you are taking, ठीक है, when you bombard that substance with that particular specific light, there will be a certain amount of light that will be absorbed by that substance, and some of it will be not absorbed. Okay, let's suppose it is absorbing some 20% of that light. Okay, and because of it, that substance will start to glow. You'll not be able to see it normally. You will have to use a specific spectrometer. उसको spectrometer बोलते हैं वो substance को, and वो सब्सटेंस का आप अब्जॉर्प्शन जो है वो मेजर करते मशीन से. ठीक है, यू आर एसेंशियली मेजरिंग हाउ मच अमाउंट ऑफ लाइट दिस अननोन सब्सटेंस इज मेजरिंग. once you know, okay, this substance is measuring 20% of this light, ठीक है, you will compare it with the standards that you have. ठीक है, let us suppose you have a whole list of different substances that are found on earth, and there are certain standards for those substances. For example, this substance has this much absorption, this substance has this much absorption, and to avoid confusion you can do it with multiple lights. UAV light से कर रहे हैं, IR light से कर रहे हैं, अलग अलग light से कर सकते हैं आप. ठीक है, and there are various procedures. Again, we are digressing a little bit. The point here is that you are trying to measure the absorbance of that substance. Every substance will have a very specific type of absorption, very unique absorption. Okay? When you know that this substance has X absorption, you will be able to identify. Let us suppose you have potassium. Potassium has some amount of absorption. Let us suppose this X substance is also displaying the same amount of absorption. Then it is safe to say that this X molecule is potassium. ये concept समझ में आया आपको? आपके पास एक unknown substance है. Let us suppose you go out for a walk, you find some stone, and on that stone you find some chemical that you want to test. What is this chemical? बोल के आप क्या करते हैं, laboratory में जाके वो sample को थोड़ा सा clean करके, थोड़ा सा sample withdraw करके उसमें से you'll put it into a spectrophotometer and you will bombard it with light, different types of light, and you are measuring the amount of absorption of light of that substance जो आप पत्थर पे से scrape करे. Okay, and let us suppose that substance absorbed 20% of certain amount of light, xyz, whatever light you used. Okay, what you will do is you will compare this absorbance, isko absorbance bolte, to your standards. You have a few standards, certain substances are supposed to show this kind of absorption. You will compare it with them. You will have a computer which will do it for you. You don't have to actually go and matching center ke वैसा match नहीं करना पड़ता आपको. The computer will do it for you. Now, after measuring it, that computer will give you some plausible results, as in based on this amount of absorption, it is highly likely that this substance might be potassium, or they will give you a few other options as well. Probability wise, the highest probability goes for potassium, maybe the next probability goes for chlorine, the other probability might go for sodium, so on and so forth. So the highest probability जो है वो ले लेते, meaning this substance is very close to potassium, it has very high concentration of potassium, or it might be safe to say that this stone or that substance is completely made out of potassium as well. ठीक है, ये concept समझ में आया absorbance का?
Yes, sir.
कि अगर सर पे से उड़ गया तो please feel free to ask, because you are using that method of absorbance here. ठीक है, once you make cyan methemoglobinemia, cyan methemoglobin from your hemoglobin, coming back to what we were trying to do, trying to measure the hemoglobin level in a person's blood, take a little bit of blood, add potassium cyanide and ferric cyanide into it, you will get a product called cyan methemoglobin. आप cyan methemoglobin का absorbance measure करते, ठीक है. So what you'll be able to find out is, in let's suppose 1 ml of blood of that person, how much amount of cyan methemoglobin is present. Let us suppose in this person's blood there was about 9 mg of cyan methemoglobin that was formed. From this you can infer that that person has 9 mg of hemoglobin, 9 mg per deciliter of sorry 9 नहीं, let us suppose deciliter है ना, 0.9. ठीक है, let us suppose 1 ml में 0.9 mg of cyan methemoglobin मिला, तो you can infer that this person had 9 mg of hemoglobin in their blood, because that amount of hemoglobin is not changing, it is just that you are adding an extra compound. जैसा आप hemoglobin को आप oxygenate करें तो oxyhemoglobin बनता, here you are indirectly measuring the amount of hemoglobin in the person's body. You are not measuring directly the amount of hemoglobin, you are measuring the amount of cyan methemoglobin that is present in the person's body. Hemoglobin amount will not change. You're just, आप क्या कर रहे हैं, essentially you are highlighting that hemoglobin by adding cyanide to it. When you add cyanide, it will be easier for you to measure the absorptions of that hemoglobin. And by measuring cyan methemoglobin levels, you'll indirectly be able to know how much amount of hemoglobin that person has. ये समझ में आया how you are able to measure hemoglobin level?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
See,
sir.
almost all the hemoglobin that you have, for example, let's suppose someone's hemoglobin level is 13. Almost all of their hemoglobin will get converted into cyan methemoglobin until unless they have a few sulfur compounds and sulfur hemoglobin present in their blood. That sulfur hemoglobin will not get converted, but almost the entirety of it will get converted. So if you are getting a level of cyan methemoglobin absorbance measure करके, let us suppose you are getting somewhere close to 11 or 12, it is safe to assume that their hemoglobin levels will be very close to 13. ठीक है, आप इनडायरेक्टली मेजर कर रहे हैं, आप साइन मेथामोग्लोबिन मेजर करके यू आर टेलिंग दैट हेमोग्लोबिन लेवल ये पेशेंट का इतना है. ठीक है. Now there are a few conditions that can cause variance in hemoglobin levels or hemoglobin concentration. Some of them include strenuous physical exercise or diurnal variation. For example, hemoglobin levels tend to be highest in the morning and lowest in the evening, and even altitude. If you go on higher altitudes, people generally tend to have higher amount of hemoglobin levels. Your body is essentially adapting to lesser amount of or lesser density of oxygen. Hence, your body will start making more amount of hemoglobin, or the people who are living there will have higher amount of hemoglobin. Okay. Now, conditions, there are a few conditions that can falsely raise your hemoglobin levels. Now, in this scenario, remember, hemoglobin level is not changing, it is being falsely raised. Matlab, even if the patient's hemoglobin level is normal, let's suppose before that particular condition, let us suppose that condition is X. Before that condition, the patient's hemoglobin was 13. After that condition occurred, or let's suppose I'll put it this way, 13, before X, it was 13. During or after, this is during, okay, during or after X, let's suppose the patient's hemoglobin appears to be 14.5. Now, what are these conditions that will falsely raise hemoglobin? It is not actually raising, falsely aisa dikh raha test पे. Those conditions include burns, dehydration, severe dehydration, acute hemorrhage. Generally, acute hemorrhage में क्या होता है? Plasma loss will be much more when compared to formed elements. Okay. And let's suppose if the patient is taking IV iron containing drugs. In all of these conditions, the patient's hemoglobin levels will appear higher. यहाँ पर relative amount of hemoglobin is increasing. See, think of it this way. If burns हुआ या severe dehydration हुआ, their plasma level is going down. Let's suppose you have one box or one small cup of, अच्छा, let me put it this way. आप लोग चाय बनाते ना, I'm sure at some point or the other you must have drunk tea or coffee in your life, or some soda drink, or something that had sugar in it. Okay, let us suppose you are drinking tea, and let us suppose when you are making tea, you are adding you're taking a tumbler, you are adding 1 glass of water into it, and you're adding 2 teaspoons of sugar into it. Let us suppose you are adding about 100 ml of water. Example, 100 ml, 200 ml, whatever you use. ठीक है, let's suppose 200 ml use कर रहे हैं. 200 ml of water में आप 2 teaspoon sugar add कर रहे हैं, and 1 teaspoon you are adding tea powder or tea dust, whatever you call it. ठीक है. Now, what will happen to your tea if you use 100 ml instead of 200 ml? You're not changing anything else. You're just changing the amount of water. What will happen to your tea?
It will become more sweeter.
Yes, the same thing will happen in your blood. यहाँ पर your blood hemoglobin levels are not changing. It is just that the amount of plasma is decreasing, because of which it appears as though your hemoglobin levels are increasing. Burns में, severe dehydration में plasma level fall होता, या फिर patient को अगर acute hemorrhage हुआ plasma level गिर जाता, या फिर the third one is direct increase. If the patient is taking iron containing drugs or all, your body will invariably actually try to increase the amount of hemoglobin. So sometimes it will appear false. Okay, agar patient is on IV infusion of iron containing drugs, it might appear that they have more amount of hemoglobin even if they're not. Okay, those are the conditions. Then you'll also have conditions in which the patient might appear to have disproportionate anemia, in the sense they will have what you call falsely normal amount of hemoglobin even if they have low amount of hemoglobin. Okay, false anemia ka or how should I put it? It will falsely portray less amount of hemoglobin rather than high amount of hemoglobin or normal hemoglobin. The patient is having normal hemoglobin, but clinical tests show that they have less hemoglobin. Those conditions will include pregnancy. Pregnancy में plasma level generally बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाता हो. Plasma volume increases. Everything opposite to the previous one. ठीक है, उसमें plasma levels कम हो रहे थे ना, hemorrhage में या burns में. यहाँ पर plasma level बढ़ जाते. So because of this, what happens is, think of the same tea example. You are adding more water instead of decreasing the amount of water. Sugar is the same. It is just that that tea will become less sweet. यहाँ पर hemoglobin levels appears to be less. It is not actually changing. You're just diluting it with more plasma. So plasma, the hemoglobin might fall by 1 or 2 mg per dl, sorry, grams per dl. या फिर the patient is having hypervolemia. ठीक है, hypervolemia can be attributed to it, or else let's suppose the patient is having renal failure. Renal failure can also be attributed to hypervolemia in a way. If the patient's kidneys are not working properly, they might not be making enough amount of urine, and more water might be retained inside their blood and body, because of which your blood cells start getting diluted. As a result, it might appear as if their hemoglobin is low. Okay, so all of this can appear as anemia even though it is not. Okay. Now tomorrow we'll start off the discussion with disease conditions where hemoglobin is actually high. All right, chalo.